Hello, Forest friends, and welcome to another edition of Fansview Fridays. Yes, we are back. The witch is back. The wisteria witch is back in her virtual cottage to talk to you about anime convention history. If this is your first time tuning into Fansview Fridays, this is a weekly Friday retrospective on the work of Kevin Lillard. And if this is your first time tuning in and learning about Kevin Lillard, he was a pioneer of anime convention photography. He covered anime conventions all around the United States and sometimes Canada. And a lot of his reports after his death, about 10 years ago, have been have been lost to the ages. However, a lot of his reports have been found on archive.org or Internet Archive. And it is one of my missions to preserve his work and his legacy through the series of Fansview Fridays. And if you don't know right now, currently Internet Archive is being threatened to be taken offline. So we want to do the best we can to preserve these moments in anime convention history because we don't want this to be lost to the ages, and we want people to learn like what anime convention, what fandom culture was like during this time period. What was it like in 1998, the year that Armageddon came out in theaters and Blade. But yeah, let's talk about Texas's own Project A-Kon 9, which took place on May 29th through the 31st in 1998. So Project A-Kon, if you were looking at the naming conventions, a lot of sci-fi conventions, they tend to name their conventions name of con and the subsequent number of the con. So this would be the ninth Project A-Kon, and I believe they still keep this naming convention active to this day. I know this year in 2024, we didn't have a Project A-Kon, so if someone can keep me accountable, like in the comments, saying like, oh, they still do this. But a lot of times in anime convention culture, we usually say convention name and the year that it took place. All right. In the heat of Central Texas, hundreds of anime and manga fans descended upon the Harvey Hotel for the nation's oldest Japanese animation festival. All right, so we're going to go through Friday. So these are highlights of the first day of A-Kon. Okay, here's a glance at the early arrivals at A-Kon 9. Oh, I know this guy right here, but we'll get to him in a few. Here is the page's first look of Ellen Winkler of Radio Comics since she appeared at Anime Weekend Atlanta 3 in 1997. The independent company with ties to Antarctic Press has a big booth in the A-Kon dealer room. Anime fandom in the San Francisco Bay Area was represented by the Bay Area Anime Society and Rob Miles Jr. I know this guy. He's one of my mentors. He mentors me to this day in terms of running anime convention. It has been a great resource and like one of my biggest cheerleaders like ever. Kudos to you, Rob, for reaching out to the younger generation of anime convention runners because you have a lot of veteran experience that is highly valuable. Like even simple advice such as remember to take care of yourself, remember to hydrate, remember to sleep. Those are still very good tenets of running anime conventions. Remember sleep, remember food, remember to stay hydrated, and above all, remember to take care of yourself. Rob Miles Jr. represents the league as one of its founders. A big group from the Bay Area, from the Bay, traveled to A-Kon, and they had plans for a similar appearance at Anime Week in Atlanta 4. Maybe we'll get to that next week. Who knows? Oh, I recognize some familiar faces here too. Still one of the people to wear a business suit at an anime convention, Carl Horn of Viz Communications spent the first day of A-Kon appearing on panels and putting up posters for his late night party. I actually ran into this guy on a flight to Anime Central 2002, leaving the Bay Area. I know this guy too. It's my buddy Dave. All right. Atlanta anime fandom was split between the E3 computer gaming show in Atlanta and A-Kon. Dave Merrill of AWA4 decided to head west to drum up more attendees for his convention in October. Getting some Brad Jones vibes from him with this photo. One of the 5 conventions covered at this page, artist Fred Perry has attended 4. We spotted Perry, he was looking for a table. Quickly finding a space, he started drawing, and it took no time for Perry's fans to find him and start commissioning artwork on the spot. Tabby Cat Comics was founded to create books and comic readers for all ages. The small company's leading title is the virtual reality computer-assisted reality check. Tavisha Wolfgarth Simmons is half of the husband and wife team. I dig that hairstyle. And Rozak Riki Simmons makes up that other half. Ooh, I wonder if he's going places in the future. He looked tired because he had just finished 2 months of his work of issue 10 of Reality Check. Green hair and lump costume this time for Ippongi Bang. The hair was read at Katsucon 4. Bang was accompanied by Mio Odagi, who found a group of fans who enjoyed her newest comics. Oh hey, there's a sneak. Previous anime conventions featured on this page have seen fish, but A-Kon was the first with a snake. The rat snake in this enclosure was being gently petted by its loving owner. This was one of the strangest signs at A-Kon, although the people to put it up didn't see the joke. On a door near the bank of only 4 elevators on the ground floor was the Harvey Hotel. Although the title refers to firefighting equipment, fire control room usually means an area on a Navy ship that aims guns at the enemy. Maybe the hotel knows something about A-Kon that we should know? Alright, let's look at what cosplay was like in 1998 in Texas. Okay, so just as a preface, sometimes because this Internet Archive will get some broken images, so please bear with. Every time there's an anime convention in a large hotel, the costume players coverage, and the normal people can't believe their eyes. At the Harvey Hotel, just across the highway from the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, there was a group of business types in a sales meeting. Corralled in a glass and meeting room, the business types thought they were dressed casually in their polo shirts. However, they had trouble concentrating on the charts and presentations because of the strange sights in the hotel halls. Okay, we have someone from Final Fantasy up here. Tifa. Oh no. Guess we got some LARPers in the house. I'm assuming that's a Kenshin Kalaru. And again, at the time, we had very limited resources for costumes back then, so we kind of had to work with what we got. If Party City had a fire engine red wig, we would use that fire engine red wig. Alright, learn about Michi Yamato, the person behind the fighting scenes in those Japanese live-action Sentai series with 5-person teams in suits and helmets. The Japanese call them Sentai shows, the 5-person teams of people in tight-fitting colored suits and helmets. They were all but unknown in the US until one of the Power Rangers series was imported as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and became a hit. Kamen, Mask Rider, and other series followed, all following the same formula. At the helm of those Americanized Sentai shows is Michi Yamato, who has choreographed the action and fight scenes for nearly 2 decades. Yamato was still a teenager when he saw the first Kamen Rider series on TV in Japan. He loved what he saw. Their fighting pose is very cool, and their fighting style was very nice. Yamato said comparing the martial arts section to Kabuki theater and Kurosawa films. Yamato learned the style from one of the creators of the Sentai series and went on to create his action sequences. The Masked Warriors in the Japanese live-action series use the stylized fighting motions because they need to be expressive without using their faces, Yamato said. The fighting style is something understood by Japanese audiences, but not always appreciated by the Americans with whom Yamato worked when he started working on the US versions of those shows. Yamato said that he had to teach American stunt performers to act as well as how to perform the fight sequences so they would look believable during the action sequences. Yamato plans to direct his own action movie in the next few months. Shogun Cop will combine Japanese and American genres, along with Japanese swords and American guns. Okay, I'm curious about this right now. Handling more than 125 Sentai shows for American audiences has introduced Yamato to US fandom, something that surprised him. The one part of US subculture that mystifies Yamato is the restrictions placed on kids' TV by the government and network censors. In Japan, I could punch in the face, but in the US, the violence code is very strange. You could kick the opponent's face, then you can't kick the opponent's face. Then how do I handle the choreography? It's all about ducking and blocking and a punch to the chest. And any bad guy, when he wants to get rid of the hero, says, destroy him. And he can't say kill. Yamato was disappointed with the American big-budget Godzilla movie is released before A-Kon 9. I remember when that movie was released. Yeah. I expected a great Godzilla movie. When I finished watching it, I thought it was only a giant dinosaur in New York. The audience wanted to see Godzilla fight and destroy a city, but the movie totally sucks. Okay, let's talk about some comics. Project A-Kon 9 Women in the Industry. This should be interesting. Most anime and manga fans and most comic buyers in the US are men, and most of the artists are also men. And a select few are women. Colleen Doran and Leia Hernandez come easily to mind as women who have taken control of their artistic destinies. A collection of those women spoke about their careers at A-Kon 9 panel on Friday. Tavisha Wolfgard-Simmons is half of the husband and wife team that created a lighthearted reality check comic. She joked that I had a problem with a stalker, so I married him. She sees no problem with sexism in the comic industry. Oh my god. But she worries that the stories and art that would attract female fans are left behind. Okay, I kind of had to sit and just think about that one for a second. Again, 1998. We need to make more beautiful stories and more meaningful characters, Wolfgang Simmons says. Yes. Women do have a tendency to like things that are aesthetically pleasing. Unfortunately, there isn't much art like that produced in this country. Wolfgang Simmons said too much American comic art is realistic to the point of being ugly. You know, at the time, I do have to agree with her on that comment, because that's what attracted me to shoujo anime in the 90s, because, oh, Clamp, this is so pretty. I love it. Naoko Takeuchi's art, Iwatase's art, it's so pretty, it's so flowy. Like, the aesthetics really attracted me into manga more than comics at the time, because, like, ooh, it's pretty, flowery, yay. Ellen Winkler of Radio Comics said she has the power in her company to keep the male artists in line. If they say I can't take orders from a girl, I say I'm not publishing you anymore. Respect. Then they respect you. If you're the one who writes the checks, they pay attention. Bang, head of the own Studio Dodo in Japan, said the male-oriented manga industry has some unusual attitudes towards women artists. The publishers want women to make their professional manga debuts early in life before they're 18 years old if possible. Publishers also think women in love draw and write better than those without a romantic relationship, so they ask female artists if they have boyfriends, and an answer of yes increases the young woman's chance of a manga job. Odagi told a story that had people gasping in disbelief as told by translator Kuni Kimura. She said she went to a publisher looking for a manga job and was told by a male supervisor that if you can draw my penis, then you can have my job. Oh my goodness. Oh God. I'm gonna continue reading this. Feel free to skip ahead because this is pretty disgusting. Ugh. The man dropped his pants, and Odagi said she was measuring the man's pants before it dawned on her what he really wanted. Later, when Odagi got a job as an illustrator of children's books, she found some publishers in Japan preferred married male artists but unmarried female artists. The reasons, according to Odagi, were that the publishers think married men will overwork to support a family, but married women won't work hard because they're concerned about their families. Oh wow, that was a lot. It's not easy to change manga into something Americans can read. The people who handle that job said it's a lot more than just translating the words. Project A-Kon 9 translating manga panel. Your favorite manga shows up at the comics dealer every few weeks with a bright color cover and carefully worded dialogue. Before it reaches your hands, it starts like this blue colored proof copy of Neon Genesis Evangelion. But well before it gets to the stage, the manga has to be translated into English, more properly translated into American, so US audiences can understand the story and nuances. The manga translators and rewriters who appeared at A-Kon 9 on Friday said their job was difficult, and they have to take something from a foreign language and make it understandable and acceptable for an audience half a world away. That job does not mean creating a word-for-word literal translation, according to Doug Dillon of Antarctic Press. I tend to be a little too wordy and exact. I can make it seem like real English, but it doesn't flow like natural English. Getting the nuances of Japanese into English can be maddening. In Ippongi Bang's Changed Commander Goku, one character spoke in old-fashioned Japanese slang. Dillon fretted for a long time before he decided to use old American slang in that character's speech. Then Bang dropped the gimmick, but Dillon kept it in the translated version. C.B. Sobolski, pictured at Central Park Media, a newcomer in translated manga, said it's hard to make the characters' speech patterns seem different in a manga such as Legend of Linear, with a number of similar females. The interpreter needs to have a solid command of the English so he knows how to give characters unique voices. It's even harder when translators don't know what the original Japanese script means, something that, according to Ellen Winkler of Radio Comics, happens more often than fans realize. The Battle Binder Plus manga she handled at her previous Antarctic job seemed nonsensical because that's the way the original was, according to Winkler. Battle Binder Plus made me want to rip my hair out, she said. Kuni Kumura said, this book is about nothing. Carl Horn, editor of the Evangelion series, said Shiro Masamune's manga are infamous for the difficulty of translating them. Often phrases don't make any sense and Shiro doesn't know what they mean either, Horn said. The other half of the translator job, retouching and flipping, can be unnerving as well. Since manga are read in the opposite directions as English language publications, most translated manga are flipped and printed as mirror image. That means retouching hundreds of details such as control panel readouts and signs. The most frustrating part of the job is converting the sound effects from Japanese to English. American publishers get manga art in its original size, which, like American comics art, is far larger than the form seen in print. Those pages can be scanned, converted in a computer program such as Photoshop. Still removing Japanese pictograms and drawing their English counterpoint is a time-consuming task. Sobolski said it takes 3 years for an artist to become proficient at retouching. Viz has tried publishing some manga unflip, but they have to provide directions for readers unfamiliar with right-to-left compositions. Alright, on Friday, Central Park Media led off the series of dueling panels staged by the American anime distribution production companies at A-Kon 9. Alright, so which distributors were there? One of the companies that sells anime in the US for Central Park Media, AD Vision, Viz, and Anime Ego held panels at Project A-Kon 9. Central Park Media, based in New York City, batted lead off with a Friday panel hosted by Jason Crystal left and CB Cebulski right. Among the anime series that CPM will release next year, the Pat Labor TV series in July, Arslan in October, a series titled Hen in Japan, that will likely be retitled Strange Love in English, about relationships between a young woman, a teacher, and a rock star. Birdie the Mighty in January, Zaza Uma Quartet, a series about female superheroes who take their powers from magic cards. In 1999, Ina Chu Ping Pong Club. You can't describe it, you have to see it, Crystal said. In September, Revolution Girl Utena in November. Probably packaged with stickers and rub-off tattoos. Mine didn't come with that, or maybe they just canceled that deal. A series to be called Beast City, no relation to the previous series with a similar name. Or Vampire Madonna, a very adult devil man. How do you make a very adult devil man? I'm curious, internet. A series to be called Nightmare Jungle or Nightmare Campus in July, and Phobia, known through its fan subs, in August. CPM's big move is coming this year towards DVD, yay, and away from Laserdisc. With the versatility of the DVD, we can put both the sub and dub on it, and a Spanish track as well, said Cebulski. According to Crystal, DVD looks hot while fewer than 1,000 Laserdiscs are being sold each month. The Laserdisc is a dying format and has been dying for some time, he said. One spectator at the panel complained that DVD audio tracks were inferior to Laserdisc audio. In any comparison process, there are going to be problems at first, but the masters are improving, answered Crystal. Sean the Touch has animated his own short films, but he doesn't have the megabucks to make his own full-length productions. Sean and others are trying to find a way towards anime on a budget. Oh, you have me there, anime on a budget, when I was a broke-ass high school student. Hardcore anime manga fans are familiar with the name Sean the Touch and artist White Radish Productions. Sean goes beyond drawing in anime style. He creates animation that is displayed at anime conventions. While many fans criticize animation, Sean goes the extra step and makes his own films. Ooh, let's learn more. Sean likes cute anime girls, and they're in ample supply in his work. I just try to do anime, and that's what it is. It can be reduced to absurdity. I just draw in a style that pleases me, he said at an A-Kon 9 panel. Sean's dream project is Pink Lemonade, featuring 4 new female characters involved in an interstellar R-rated plot. Characters and storyboards are ready. Sean has worked out a method of using the Photoshop graphics program to draw and color cells. Now all he needs is someone to go with the time and money to help with his anime series. I tried to go to other people when nobody was interested, so I did it myself, said Sean. While the cells will be created by hand, Sean is using the Lightwave computer program introduced to his website at Anime Central to create 3-dimensional backgrounds. Ben Dunn of Antarctic Press has been down the road that Sean wants to travel. The success of warrior nun Aurelia led Dunn to commission a demo animation. It costs us a pretty penny, 30 grand. Animation is not cheap, Dunn said. According to Dunn, that cost pales in comparison to the millions spent by television networks to produce pilot episodes of animation series that never get on air. And finally, here's a look at another group of A-Kon 9 cosplayers. All right, let's see what we got here. These costumes will look different than those seen at conventions because A-Kon is different. Many of the people at A-Kon are into role-playing games and wear costumes to become their favorite characters in gaming rooms. Okay, unfortunately, a lot of broken photos here. A lot of the photos have been restored on Anime Cosplay Paradise. So you can look up Anime Cosplay Paradise and that will have a lot of the complete photos. But let's see what kind of what Internet Archive has been able to rescue. Okay, just scrolling through. We have mostly like landscape shots here of cosplayers. All right, let's head into Saturday. But before we do, let's hydrate with a cup of lavender lemonade. Here's a look at the contestants in the Project A-Kon 9 costume contest. The tight confines of the hall by the A-Kon 9 limited the number of people who viewed the costume contest. However, the contestants in all their splendor were lined up in the hall outside the hall, and here's what they look like. Okay? So if you recognize these costumers, feel free to mention them in the comments. So we got Sorcerer Hunters over here. Not familiar with this, looks rather familiar. We got Kenshin, we got Asuka, and I believe that is Tiffany Grant. We also got a Trekkie in the background. Yeah, we got a Klingon and a Trekkie. We got Cloud. Again, be kind. A lot of us had limited resources at the time to make our costumes, because remember, we didn't have like cheap labor from China, from Asia, making costumes that we can just simply order on eBay or AliExpress. A lot of times we kind of had to find a commissioner online, or even just find a kimono and call it a day and like, hey, I'm a Kaoru, or like, hey, a Chinese dress, I'm Shampoo. Or we just had to figure it out and build it our own instead. Or we just kind of had to like just take pieces of regular clothing and just turn it into a costume. The cosplay judges had to work hard to make their decision on the night's awards. Head here for the list of winners. Okay, grand prize. By this time he was out of costume, but he still won. I guess it's this gent right here. Oh, that's a really pretty llama. I like that. Second prize went to this gent from Escaflowne. Third prize, I believe this is from Parappa, the rapping onion guy. Please mention his name in the comments because the name escapes me. Bonus points if you link us to his rap. Best skit looks like it went to that Final Fantasy VII group. Best creative work went to the Naga and Lena Inverse from Slayers, if you've seen any of the movies. I was introduced to the movies first before I seen the series for Slayers. It's one of my comfort series from like my formative years. It's like baby's first fantasy comedy anime. Best technical achievement, don't quite recognize what they're cosplaying from, but if you could name it, drop it in the comments. Ellen Winkler's award. Amy Howard's award went to a Rick Hunter / Hikaru from Macross. Strangest New A-Kon Tradition award, looks like a bunch of dudes in trench coats carrying some Nerf guns. Steve Bennett's award went to this Kenshin group right here. Best non-anime award, It Will Be a Mystery. Reijiro Kato's award. Michi Yamato's award. Looks like the guests of honor were able to also hand off awards too, regardless of their knowledge of costuming. Yabhiro Aki's award. Oh, that's a pretty interesting fur face. Mio Odagi's award went to these folks from Fushugi Yugi. And Ippongi Bang's award was Keko Common. Alright, 80 Vision schedule of anime series for release this year is nearly overstuffed, and A-Kon fans got the first word firsthand from leaders of the company. 80 Vision had the most elaborate booth of the anime companies at A-Kon 9, including a live camera linked to their website, when Left to Right Dave Williams, Matt Greenfield, and John Ledford hosted their Saturday panel, and they also had the largest release schedule of the anime companies to announce. Greenfield did most of the talking about the series 80 Vision will release. The second Neon Genesis Evangelion Laserdisc is headed for the stores with Volume 3 in production. Volume 12 of the Eva tapes has been shipped, with Volume 3 to follow in July as released in Japan. And not the revised version. A live action Tokyo the Last Megalopolis is set for release. More Go Nagai animated series will follow, including Black Line, Delinquents in Drag, My Dear Marie, and another TTS Airbat series is on the way. An unusual series called Chameleon, the creators of Dragon Half, have another series in production. They will have a Japanese version of Sonic the Hedgehog. The company will release the anime of the Sakura Tyson game, and AD Vision has the rights to the Legend of Crystania and the Slayers movies and OVAs. As AD Vision voice actor Doug Smith taped the panel, Greenfield announced 2 acquisitions that had fans applauding. One was a story how Earth is defended from alien invasion by a spaceship with anime fans. The Martian successor Nadeshiko series. Other big announcement was the entire 140 episode City Hunter series. One of the series that was ideally suited for American television, Greenfield said. We could think of a breakthrough series for anime in this country. And sadly, I don't think it took off as well as they hoped for, because I need people to talk to about the live action City Hunter that's on Netflix. It just kind of came and went, but it was actually a good movie. I enjoyed the City Hunter live action movie for Netflix. Many of these series are announced in the new AD Vision catalog at A-Kon. The biggest problem we have is, as a company, is that we're fans, said Greenfield. We choose titles so we have positive cash flow. The competition for these titles can get pretty vicious. John Cirabella of the competing software company was an interested spectator in the back of the room listening as Greenfield said that AD Vision is not going to make a big move towards a DVD format for their releases. Their new and embryonic formats were looking at something that isn't established yet, said Greenfield. Rather than commit to a disc format that we are not sure of, we decided to commit that effort into getting titles like Nadeshiko and City Hunter. Alright, Ippongi Bang brought out the famed Lum costume, where she appeared with members of her Studio Dodo to talk about their work. Because I'm wondering, is it Studio Dodo or Studio Doo-Doo? Because, one, I don't want to be mispronouncing it, but Studio Doo-Doo opens a floodgate of American jokes said by 12-year-olds, if you catch my drift. With Ippongi Bang in her famed Lum costume and Mio Odagi in a demure kimono. So demure, very mindful. Studio Dodo made a A-Kon panel appearance to talk about their upcoming projects. Bang has a new manga series, Virtual Bang, which promises to mix science, fantasy, fiction fantasy, and the martial arts. Her CD-ROM of cosplay pictures and comics produced by Gainax in Japan will be available in an English language version later this year. So before we had cosplay prints on sale, we had cosplay CD-ROMs. Getting the Dodo project out on time means a lot of hard work by her stable of artists. Rule number 1 is to never sleep, she said. If there is no deadline, manga artists will never complete their work. In her overseas travels, Bang has gone to Bolivia to help the poor. She was saddened by the news of the earthquake that killed dozens of people. That quake fortunately did not affect the Bolivians that Bang had worked with. Odagi received a surprise from a fan at A-Kon, a copy of the Mikimoto manga which she had worked on as an assistant earlier in her career. Mio intently flipped through the pages looking for the drawings she had helped create years ago. During an autograph session in the A-Kon dealer room, we had a chance to watch artists at work. Odagi worked as if from instinct, forming the shape of her portrait, which was finished around a minute, the kind, cute female that Odagi drawn for years. It seemed natural for someone in a Lum costume to draw her version of the character, so Bang took the pen and started on her sketch. As Odagi had done, Ippongi began with a chin and eyes. And she rests of Lum and Rest of Lum's head emerged seconds later, drawn in a round style of Bang's favorite female figures. The shoulders of and bust line finished the drawing, along with a quick signature from Bang. Some people went to A-Kon to fight, but no one was hurt. The gamers who lived for the contest called Amtgard showed everyone how it was done. Okay, this isn't strictly part of the anime and manga fandom, but it was one of the Project A-Kon 9 and deserves a look. Amtgard is one of the most fascinating of the role-playing games that were a part of A-Kon. Bacchus, leader of the demonstration, said the game is a combination of military campaigning and swordplay. These are homemade weapons of Amtgard, a plastic tube wrapped in padding that costs around $12 to make. They make a solid whap when they strike home and can sting a little, but they're very lightweight. The game discourages deliberate shots to the head, groin, or chest. Connect with your weapon on an opponent and you disable that body part you hit. Players also serve as their own referees during a joust. Just pick up a basketball player's leg, call fouls on each other. One rule: if you strike a player's leg and the foot is on the ground, that is not scored as a major hit. If the foot is off the ground, the leg is disabled. Hoot is off the ground. Amtgard swordplay is not like fencing. Jabs aren't important as broad slashes to the body. Strength is as important as speed, maneuverability, and a sense of when to strike for the opening. And if handled poorly, no one gets hurt, although players who aim for the head can be excused from a contest. At midnight, the costumers were in full force at A-Kon. Here's what we found when we wandered the halls with our digital camera. Okay, so let's see what photos come up. Okay, we have Chung Li. There's our friend Rick Hunter again. We have someone in a beautiful kimono. No. Oh, we also, I want to say this is Queen Amidala, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Phantom Menace didn't come out until the very next year, 1999. Two generations of anime voice actors gathered to share their experiences and their discovery of the world of anime fandom. Amy Howard Leff and Tiffany Grant represent two generations of American voice acting. Howard was the voice of Nova in Star Blazers, the US version of Space Cruiser Yamato. Grant, the first voice actor hired by AD Vision, has handled several roles, including Langley in Evangelion. And was that really Tiffany Langley in a plug suit at the A-Kon 9 cosplay? And Reina in Guy. Howard tells the story of how she leapt at the chance to dub Nova's voice to the chance to get on television. After handling the dozens of episodes, she moved to other jobs, losing track of the Star Blazers cast and crew. Howard admits she didn't know that the old show still had a following and that videotapes of episodes were being sold. None had meant any money for Howard. There were no acting credits, no residuals on the non-union show, but it drew her new fame when anime fans realized she was active. Howard is now a frequent guest at conventions such as A-Kon. Grant didn't know there was such thing as anime fandom when she took the AD Vision dubbing job. She was just looking for acting work. Her friends knew even less about anime fandom. When I started, I said, anime, people, what is that? Do you do it in Japanese? Do you only reference for them is Sailor Moon? Now I say anime, and now they say, oh, like Sailor Moon. Grant is animated in the recording booth as the characters on the screen. She needs to talk with her hands to get the proper delivery of the characters' lines. The AD Vision booth in Houston has props inside as toy guns so the actors can get into the character's portrayal. And we do some pretty weird stuff. Along with acting with her hands, Grant has to stand where she delivers her lines. Howard recalled that the lines she was given didn't always match the amount of her character's mouth and move on to screen. I'd say Captain enemy ships are approaching on radar, but little mouths kept moving. Sometimes we'd get silly and add things like, by the way, what's for dinner? Viz Communications toasted their supporters with announcements of new publications and videos. Viz Communications of California has branched out from manga publishing to video distribution, but the company still spends most of its time working on Japanese comics. Toshifuma Yoshida of Viz had some manga announcements at the company's A-Kon panel. The manga Vision anthology will be discontinued this summer and replaced by a new similar publication to be called America Extra. This will include Steam Detectives, X 1999, Fujuki Yugi, and the first English release of the Video Girl Eye manga. The Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z manga are strong sellers for Viz, and the Tenchi Muyo Meizunai Koku and Rama manga will continue for years, probably into the next century. John Ledford Wright of AD Vision was an interested observer as Yoshida spoke about the handful of new Viz video releases. Night Warriors and Ranma 1/2 movies are coming to DVD disc from Viz. We got to do more Ranma because it sells, said Yoshida, and Meizunai Koku releases will also continue. We wish we had more titles to announce. We're not buying up all the titles, Yoshida said jokingly, referring to the flood of releases AD Vision had announced earlier in the day. Pearl Horn of Viz arrived to talk about the company's future strategy. Manga fans aren't casual about it, Horn said, referring to the hardcore enthusiasts of the kind who attended A-Kon 9. The challenge is always to expand the market. That's where pulp comes in. Pulp is a mature manga anthology started by Viz in the last year, which features stories that are not linked to anime series. That's a departure from Viz's strategy of publishing manga that are based on popular anime series. Horn noted that in Japan, manga series produce anime series, while in the US, it's been the other way around, and Pulp tries to reverse that pattern. Popular series, whether printed or televised, always drive a fan demand for souvenirs and collectible, and Viz has a line of that stuff coming out. From the soundtrack of Key the Metal Idol to Ranma 1/2 shirts and a Ranma watch. And Anime Eigo followed suit with information on new releases from that company. Anime fans demanded an American release of the Kimaguri Orange Road television series after a long wait. The package of Laserdisc is about ready to be shipped to those who paid in advance. Robert Woodhead of Anime Eigo said the Orange Road Laserdisc will be sent out in late August, with special material to pre-order to customers. As soon as licensing questions are settled, the second volume of Urusei Yatsura Laserdisc will also hit the street, said Woodhead. Meanwhile, Anime Eigo plans to release the original Bubblegum Crises series on DVD disc. The disc allowed the company to make one pressing for the US and overseas markets with Japanese English and Japanese soundtracks, English and French subtitles on the same disc. New releases from Anime Eigo. Woodhead said that the company is looking at a new group of live-action samurai films, but other release announcements will have to wait until Anime Expo in July. A fan asked about the pending You're Under Arrest TV series, a sequel to the OAV series Anime Eigo released. Woodhead is uncertain because it would not appeal to the broader audience that the other series appealed to. I would rather do an Oh My Goddess TV series because Oh My Goddess sold better. Anime Eigo has considered many anime series, but there are a lot of great TV shows that will never come out here because they're too strange. Just look at Crayon Shin-chan. Well, maybe now that South Park's a hit, the humor is as good in Crayon Shin-chan and the animation's better, Woodhead said. How does Woodhead say he decides which Japanese series to pursue? Does Robert Woodhead like it? Can he get it out at a reasonable price? If he does, will the women who outnumber him 6-1 in the office kill him? That's why Central Park Media got Uru Tsukidoji, the infamous tentacle-born series. As the anime companies talk, the cosplayers flock to A-Kon 9, and the camera was there to catch them. Okay, we're scrolling down. Got a couple of Sailor Moons in here. Oh my god, there's a cute Akane. I love that she has P-chan with her. Yeah, I really like this lion guy here. Like, mad props to this guy. Just love the makeup. A+. Got Yorosei Yatsura there. Oh my god, we have Martian successor Nadeshiko Gatsby. I love it. Someone doing their makeup. Oh my goddess, we got Erd. We have a lot of seems to be like a thriving furry community out at A-Kon that was very much present at A-Kon 9. Highlights of the third day of A-Kon. So we're down to the third day. Would love, I wish I could read that name correctly, Amy Howard? Alright, American manga companies made their presentations on the final day of A-Kon, led by Pat Duke of Radio Comics. Ellen Winkler is one half of the creative team that runs Radio Comics. The other half is Pat Duke, seen here with the company's preview books that were on display at A-Kon 9. Radio Comics isn't a big company, only the 47th largest comics publisher in the US, but those preview books contain big plans for the future. Because of those plans, as Radio Comics moves into the field of translated manga, artist Tsukasa Kotobuki, shown at Anime Central, the character designer for Saber Marionette J, and Ballerina Toshinden will provide the first manga series for Radio Comics. The working English language title is Mechanical Man Blues, described by Duke as the story of an android that rebels against the humans who killed his creator. The story will be told in 3 to 4 issue miniseries with the new Kotobuki color covers for the American release. If Mechanical Man Blues is successful, it could lead to the release of more Kotobuki manga by Radio Comics. The funny animal and adult series already released by Radio Comics will continue with some additions. Tales of the Fennec 2 will be released in June. 1 year late, a hit, The Beach pinup issue is due July with 2 versions. The deluxe version will have a Fred Perry cover. A new series called Lortnock comes in June from artist David Sains. To say the least, it's very strange. It's Sanrio meets Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. The artist is very beautiful. The panels on one particular page from another picture, noted Duke. Morning Glory debuts in September from former furlough artists Lauren Gayton and Michael Vega. The story of a fairy who lives off human emotions and ends up causing trouble. In November, we'll see the debut of Trouble Express from Will Pervert Club, Allison, the story of a team of intrepid special delivery agents. The adult anthology Milk is the company's bestseller. Issue number 1 is completely sold out. Duke said some stories from that line's early issues might be released in a compilation that has working title of Condensed Milk. More Genius, Furlough, and Filthy Animals releases are due as well. Duke didn't mention any particular publishers, but he said that some American publishers of manga are getting sloppy with translation and touch-up work. They're errors most people wouldn't notice, said Duke. We want to produce books. We can be proud because we have to go to conventions and face our fans. And with that said, I'll go ahead and take a drink here. Okay. All right. Then Ben Dunn of Antarctic Press had announcements for A-Kon's fans. Joe Dunn left, and Ben Dunn of Antarctic Press had a dealer's room booth and an artist's row table at A-Kon 9. The Brothers Company, which is moving into the top 10 on the list of American comics publishers, was best known as the house that made Ninja High School and Gold Digger from Fred Perry. Then came the smash hit of Warrior Nun Aurelia, and the company changed. The manga lines carried by Antarctic were dropped, according to Ben Dunn, because it was costing us too much and we had to reevaluate it. But I don't know how the other guys do it. Antarctic announced two major changes in their comics line. Warrior Nun, Ben Dunn's creation, which he started, then farmed out to other artists that will go on a 4 to 5 month hiatus after the next issue. Then it will be relaunched at the end of the year, with Ben Dunn retaking full control of the art and storylines. Rather than have others draw Warrior Nun, Dunn will again draw Warrior Nun as he had in the beginning of the series. Look for a lighter touch when the Nun series restarts. I've decided to take a new approach. I don't think I was doing it in a style I was comfortable with, he said. Antarctic's other major change is unusual, to say the least. Joe Dunn said the company has licensed the old Alley Oop series. The characters of a caveman and his pet dinosaur are among the most popular newspaper strips before World War II. But most anime and manga fans may not have heard of Alley Oop. Antarctic isn't aiming for hardcore anime fans with Alley Oop, but children, which Joe Dunn said are being ignored by most comics companies. When the opportunity came up to publish Alley Oop, we decided to see if we can get kids to buy comics, said Joe Dunn. I started collecting comics when I started buying Richie Rich, which was a big children's comics of the 1960s. Antarctic's core titles remain Luftwaffe, 1946, Gold Digger, Warrior Nun Aurelia, Ninja High School. The Gold Digger wedding story is due out soon, and humor promised. A new Fred Perry full-color series called Legacy, It's Not Gold Digger 2, Ben Dunn said, is on the way. A Moss Spade-side story from the Robotech line will follow, and the Hepcats and Box Office Poison series will continue. The Dunns still dream of animating their comic series. Already a demo of Warrior Nun has been animated by Sunrise in Japan, and the Dunns say that other Japanese studios are interested in a full series of the shows. The Dunns take heart from the success of Spawn, the Todd McFarlane series, animated in Japan and shown on home box office. We fully hope that will open up the door and show that people will accept the kind of animation if it's not kidified, Ben Dunn said. McFarlane kept control of its characters and storylines, and Antarctic wants to run an animated Warrior Nun their way. A lot of anime doesn't come across to a mainstream audience. Anime fans don't mind, but a national audience doesn't get it, said Ben Dunn. What we're trying to do is the stuff that will reach an American audience that has a polished, really excited anime look. And finally, it was a turn of Simmons of Reality Check fame. The married couple of Tavisha Wolfgard Simmons and Ricky Simmons made up Tabby Cat. They worked on the Robotech comics before turning into a different idea. A comic for all ages that was based on a manga design and stayed away from the epics about grunting superheroes. Super Information Hijinks Reality Check is the story of Colin Meeks, a student ignored by his parents who takes solace in his 21st century virtual internet. Colin is joined online by his cat, Catrice, his girlfriend, her cat, a catified computer virus, and a host of odd virtual characters. Rose Eric Riki Simmons said their series is offered to a Japanese publisher and was rejected because it was too American, with too many American jokes and cultural references. Tavisha Wolfgard Simmons came up with the idea for Reality Check after she got her first modern modem and discovered the online world. Catrice the cat, who is humanoid, when in the virtual world was a character she developed who blossomed into the reality check universe. The series aimed at all readers because there weren't any American companies doing anything for a general audience. Oddly, despite the comics saying access for all ages on the cover, reality check still gets lumped in with the adult comics in many stores. Wolfgang Simmons thinks that happens because the series has so many anthropomorphic characters, which links it in some retailers' minds with furry titles. Since those comics are often considered to deal with sex, the Simmons don't want reality check considered to be a furry title. Does Mimi, Catrice's sister, look like Tavisha? It might be more than a coincidence, she hinted. Tavisha draws the characters, then Rose Eric creates the computerized backgrounds. The combined effort takes 18 months to create a new issue reality check, which is unique in its use of backgrounds made on the Macintosh. At first, we were being tedious, Rose Eric Ricky Simmons said. We didn't know where to stop when it came to the graphics. Now we figure out how to do things quickly. The backgrounds are developed on the Creations Painter and Ray Dream. It tends to make your creations look like toys, which made it perfect for a reality check. I didn't want it to look real. I wanted it to be this toy-like dream, place of the future. Somehow, a chance to meet artists and celebrities at A-Kon turned into a spray painting contest. For an additional ticket price, A-Kon fans got to share a Sunday brunch with a featured convention artist and say hello to Mari Hazelwood, organizer of the event. What the group might have not expected was the artist would be called upon to sign The Great Wall, the stage set that was used for A-Kon's Convocation Hall. Steve Bennett led off, and look at that, a young Steve Bennett and a spray can. And produced its portrait to the right of the autograph of a voice actor, Amy Howard. Mio Odagi and Reijiro Kato joined in with their spray cans. Odagi's painting in the black dodo next to the yellow and green script signed by Ippongi Bang. Off to the right is the signature of Newton Ewell. Kaito's work in the pair of green pictograms above the jumping yellow. Well, take a close look, and you can figure out what it is. Goofy? Tavisha Garth Simmons amazed the crowd when she took two cans of green paint and started simultaneously drawing in both hands, producing a green cat meowing nya in Japanese. Martial artist action director Michi Yamato showed he could draw a bit. He pumped out a quick Kamen Rider on the A-Kon 9 wall. Pat Duke and Ellen Winkler of Radio Comics took the basic graffiti approach to their panel of the wall. And after most of the brunch crowd had left, Tiffany Grant grabbed a couple of paint cans and added her signature. Okay, a day after the costume contest, there was still more cosplay fun at A-Kon 9, and even stranger things were to come. Alright, let's see what cosplay photos the Internet Archive has saved. Cosplay at an anime convention doesn't end with a costume contest. We spotted more costumers on Sunday and had pictures left over from the previous day. Hey, scroll here. If you recognize any of these, drop them in the comments. Oh. Anime conventions are held at hotels, and hotels are built near airports because that's where people go. The Harvey Hotel is across from the highway from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and airlines using north-south runway get this close to the hotel. A-Kon fans were enjoying the event's final panels and contests rummaging through the dealer room when a strange sound blasted through the hotel. A fire alarm had been set off in one of the meeting rooms, and the building was evacuated as fire trucks rolled up. Oh, jeez. Hundreds of people had to wait in the muggy 100-degree heat while hotel management and the Irving Fire Department checked the building. The evacuation never bothered the Amp Guard players who carried their duels into the parking lot right behind a fire truck. Finally, all clear was given to the crowd shuffled back in. For reasons only known to Texans, many of the A-Kon fans made a loud mooing sounds as if they were cattle being driven into a pen. Alright, the last section of the con. Finally, the author wrote some notes about A-Kon 9 on the flight home from Texas. So, what are Kevin Lillard's final thoughts on A-Kon 9, aka A-Kon 1998? Project A-Kon 9 highlights. Some observations from Project A-Kon 9. The table loaded with flyers advertising what seemed to be 24 conventions, a table for a medieval festival not far from a group trying to raise money for a space station. Artist Fred Perry never seemed to leave his table. The never-ending pool game in the hall just outside the art room. The relatively short registration lines. The color artwork on the nicely laminated con badges. Pikachu, a pocket monster, seems to be taking over from Mokana, a Magic Knight Rayearth, as the trendy cute animal. But there were more Ryokis at A-Kon 9 than the two other creatures put together, and the cats from Sailor Moon are coming in strong. The Parappa the Rapper and Onion Act cosplay was a hit. Eponky Bang didn't know Pat Duke of Radio Comics was one of the players until Duke, out of costume, went on stage to claim an award. Costumers were plentiful on Friday and Saturday, but disappeared on Sunday. Lloyd Carter of Anime Weekend Atlanta arriving on Saturday with goodies and game info from E3 trade show, trying to talk to artist Ewan Ewell into attending AWA 4. A tall and attractive woman, she said, would be costing Cutie Honey in the future, looked to be born for the part. Tiffany Grant, who plays Asuka Langley in Evangelion, was the first voice actress who wore her character's costume in cosplay. The best solution to the dilemma of the impossible costume was made by the young woman who wore flesh-colored body stocking when she played Keko Kamen. It wasn't an anime costume, but the guy in the big gray lion suit may have been the most photographed item at A-Kon 9, even more than Epongi Bang in her Lum outfit. Online Desians love to know about the dealer hall and video rooms at cons. The A-Kon 9 dealer room was the largest one seen at the 5 cons since last November. It was the only one which didn't seem jam-packed. That apparently wasn't because of slow sales. Dealers seemed to be happy with business at A-Kon because there was room to spread out. The merchandise selection seemed good, but the author hasn't noted much difference among the selection in the dealers since AWA 3. I nearly said AEW. Of course, using the hotel's largest room for the dealer's hall meant the second largest room was used for the costume contest. There were only 320 seats in the cosplay hall, and the lineup started forming 2 hours ahead of schedule. Those who didn't get in the main hall could watch the cosplay on a surprisingly clear video feed in an overflow room. With the main room that packed, the author got his cosplay shots in the hall outside. That proved to be a blessing in disguise. Online friends, only known by handles, were met. And the party outside the main room was more fun than the show inside. The author spent most of his time in panels and slipped into a video room when only trying to kill time between panels, glancing at the opening episode of Martian's successor Nadeshiko. The show had a reputation of being a parody, but it has a very dark opening. Going to the panels gave another view of the competition between the importers of anime to the US. The company panels at anime cons have started to turn into a can you top this contest of which company can name the biggest titles for US release. AD Vision probably won the A-Kon 9 contest on points, but other companies hinted their big announcements and would come in 1 month at Anime Expo. It was fun to sit in the front of the room for one company's panel and see a couple of representatives from other companies in the back of the room trying to be inconspicuous. And hey, we got Professor Ramses on our stream. Hello, Professor Ramses. Project A-Kon 9 was the second anime convention attended by this author, fell on an important anniversary. Anime Central came on the 30th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King. A-Kon 9 was on what would have been the 81st birthday of John F. Kennedy. My apologies. The Dallas Morning News ran a story on how things were. People flocked to the Dealey Plaza in downtown Dallas, where Kennedy was assassinated in 1963. Of course, the plaza was a short distance from Irving, Texas, and the Harvey Hotel, where A-Kon 9 was held. A lot has changed since Kennedy died. Neither hotel, the convention, or anime fandom existed in 1963. Most of the fans at the con, probably some of their parents, hadn't been born when Kennedy was president. I will say this much as an aside. I'm meeting people who were born during George Bush's Jr.'s presidency. Love Field, where Kennedy made his last flight, was barely visible through the smoke and the haze as the author's flight home left the Dallas Fort Worth airport. The smoke originated hundreds of miles to the south from the forest fires in Mexico and had been one of the two major environmental topics in Texas. The other was the heat, which soared to more than 100 degrees on the A-Kon 9 weekend, just short of record highs. The heat taxed the air conditioning in the author's 15th floor room. Convection of the heat from the lower floors made the 15th floor hallways oven hot. Ice machines were popular during the convention's weekend. And all right, with that said, that wraps up Project A-Kon 9 by Fansview, as written and covered by the late Kevin Lillard. Again, thank you so much for tuning into Fansview Fridays. We hope you can continue to support our series. Again, we are back after a long summer absence. We were on summer break. We were in London, frolicking the streets, gathering all the things, and now we're back in the cottage to tell you more about anime convention history, because this history is important and this history should not be forgotten. And with that said, continue to support our channel, support our Ko-Fi, support our throne. Our links are in the description. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Be a subscriber, be a follower if this is your first time tuning into us. And with that said, the convention is what you make of it. So make it a good one. And again, if this is your first time tuning in, I do have a book on the way. It will be released in January 2025, The Fangirl Diaries, which is a lived experience of this period of time of anime convention history. It's just about finding identity, finding community. What was it like back then, before the era of streaming, to find your people as a queer teen, as a person of color teen within the anime convention community. And with that said, thank you so much for your support. We always appreciate having you here. And we will see you at the con.
Fuck you, Baltimore! Yes, I'm so glad that works. Wisteria, hello. Thank you so much for the 5-person raid. How